Islam's never fought anybody as long and tall as I am, let alone someone who moves the way I move. He doesn't have a chance against me on the feet, and I need to see him unconscious. There's no excuses when I beat him. Ian Garry is the best fighter in the world, and that's it.
Everybody say before the fight, I'm gonna knock him out, I'm gonna finish Islam, I'm gonna stop his wrestling, but it's not working. I'm gonna do whatever I want and finish him. So I'm the best fighter in the world, and I'm gonna show it in Philadelphia. To make the fight easy, we have to training hard every day.
Use your range. Use your range. Range.
Who can beat us, who training more than us. But no one training more than us.
Nice, Islam. Very nice, Islam.
I'm not just grab. I'm the best fighter in the world. I'm gonna use all my skills.
As UFC 330 nears, Ian Garry vows to expose Islam Makhachev and leave him unconscious on the feed. But Islam fires back that Garry's wrestling won't save him and promises to unleash every weapon in Philadelphia. With both men claiming supremacy, this showdown is rapidly turning into an all-out war. Islam Makhachev is making it clear that nobody is outworking his camp, insisting that relentless training is what makes the fight easy when the cage door closes. And this time, he's warning Ian Garry that he's far more than a grappler. He's bringing every weapon in his arsenal to prove he's the best fighter in the world.
To make the fight easy, we have to training hard every day.
Use your range. Use your range. Range.
Who can beat us, who training more than us. But no one training more than us.
Nice, Islam. Very nice, Islam.
I'm not just grab. I'm the best fighter in the world. I'm gonna use all my skills.
By mocking Makhachev during a video call with boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, Ian Garry delivered a ruthless message. Despite respecting Islam Makhachev's elite talent, he firmly believes he can beat him. Garry is convinced that if he unleashes the performance he knows he's capable of, Islam's dominance will finally come crashing down.
As much as I respect Islam, as much as I know how good he is and I know how talented he is, I know that I can beat him if I go out there and do what I believe I can do.
However, Ian Garry proudly showed Eddie Hearn the 2019 title belt he won, then pointed to the empty frame sitting above it with a message that carried serious intent. That frame is being reserved for the UFC championship belt he believes he'll claim after defeating Islam Makhachev.
Oh yeah, the lads want me to show you this. Here. I got this made a while ago, and I feel like this is something me and you would like. So, that is my Cage Warriors world title that I won in July 2019. And above it, when I got that one framed, I made this frame as well.
I love it.
It's an empty frame that says UFC World Champion coming soon.
Turning to training, Coach Javier Mendez says Islam Makhachev is the total package, capable of dominating every area of MMA with elite level skill. He insists this is not a grappler versus striker matchup. Islam can dictate the fight wherever he wants. According to Mendez, Islam doesn't just adapt to opponents, it decides exactly how he's going to fight and how he's going to win.
And then you got Islam, who's, compared to all of them, he's the total package. He was beautiful to train. I mean, he's the easiest champion I've ever had to deal with. He can do it all. That's what people are missing.
You guys ready? Okay, let's go.
It's not a grappler versus a striker. It's a total MMA fighter fighting.
Nice, Islam.
And we just decide how he's gonna fight, how he's gonna win.
While Ian Garry is turning up the intensity in camp, sharpening his pad work with explosive combinations as he prepares for Islam Makhachev. Every session is focused on becoming faster, sharper, and more dangerous against one of MMA's most complete fighters. Garry isn't just preparing to survive, he's building the weapons he believes can shock Islam and steal the spotlight. Adding According to that, analyst Craig Jones is drilling Ian Garry on a BJ Penn style inside foot hook, using it to create space and neutralize Islam Makhachev's high club attack. He teaches Garry to stay long, maintain distance, and use his leg as a frame whenever Islam tries to close the gap. If Islam commits too hard, Garry can counter the club, stay balanced, and potentially turn the exchange into a back-taking opportunity.
Not many people do play the clubbing collar tie like Islam does. GSP would do it. GSP would do it effectively till he came into BJ Penn. And the reason I think Ian Garry's gonna have some problems for Islam is because he does that BJ Penn hook, which again is a rare problem to encounter. As he hikes it up, we can maintain our space here. It's really, really difficult to deal with, especially if we can push the head here, because I can frame both my forearm and my leg. It's hard for Freddie to reach the other leg, whether it be with his foot or his hand. Sometimes we can even slip because we don't have wrestling boots and stay square, whereas a traditional slip, when we get over, we'll expose our back. So again, I think it's gonna be interesting. Ian Garry, probably gonna get taken down, but if we see this exchange, I'm really interested to see what happens. Can Islam do his regular hike up club foot sweep, or will Ian Garry?
However, Craig Jones is teaching Ian Garry to force Islam to stay low on the single, using constant backward movement to deny Islam the hip control he wants. If Islam can't establish his signature club, Garry can drop into the ankle hook and attack the leg, just like the opening Dustin Poirier found. Jones shows Garry how to wait for Islam to overcommit, then turn that pressure against him with a sudden ankle attack in transition. The message is clear: make Islam chase, break his preferred position, and punish the moment he reaches too deep.
Australian Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, takedown defense. Elite here, elite understanding of the game. We're gonna add one more technique. I'm gonna add this because Dustin Poirier did really, really good against Islam. And I think it was because he forced Islam to stay like low on the single. Like Islam wants to get as close to the hip as possible. And Poirier would be always moving backwards like this. And that, Islam obviously fucking genius, he adjusted on the fly. What happened was like, he ended up getting down to the ankle here. And a lot of people know this, like obviously for a wrestling technique, where you bring the foot to the floor and I drag Freddie and he goes launching. Sometimes I can fucking fly into the air, sometimes you get to the back. But what I think could play a factor in this life is if we get to this position here, and he's like, he can feel that his club's not gonna work. And if Ian Garry's like sneaking a finger in the glove the Dagestani way, he could drop back to this ankle here and hit the same thing he hit against Poirier. And what he did good against Poirier is,
by comparing both fighters, Luke Thomas says he's expecting Islam Makhachev to win because it's simply too difficult to bet against the pound-for-pound king. But he warns that Ian Garry's elite defense, hunger, and movement could create serious problems for Islam. Luke sees Garry as a dangerous underdog who could test Islam in ways established contenders haven't. Still, when it comes down to the prediction, Luke's money is firmly on Islam Makhachev.
And you're like, his best win compares to doesn't compare at all to the other guy's best win, you know? So there's just seems like this vast difference. And what I would say is I've said this before a million times, the hardest thing to do in MMA is to win a UFC title and then stand a post and defend it against the most deserving contender. Because it is not the guy with the most celebrity. It's not moving up the weight class to fight the other champ. It's the guy who is hungry as shit, who is on his climb. And if they're the number one contender, that means they've, earned the spot to be there. And they're going to fight like rabid dogs the whole night, or as long as they're able to. Now, I don't mean that, it's going to be an action-oriented affair. It could be very defensive, as a matter of fact. But I mean, in terms of my screen here, hold on. In terms of, Jesus, no.
What's going on?
My screen just kind of flashed something. I don't know what that was. Yeah, but in terms of just being a really complicated test for Islam.
However, Luke Thomas sees Ian Garry as a serious nightmare matchup for Islam Makhachev, calling him one of the hardest challenges Islam could face at welterweight. He praises Garry's elite footwork, distance management, speed, and takedown defense, noting that even Shavkat struggled to take him down consistently. Thomas warns that Garry is hungry as hell and has already neutralized dangerous offensive fighters, making this far more complicated than a typical title defense. While he still favors Islam, Thomas makes it clear Garry is skilled enough to create major problems for the pound-for-pound king.
Do you think he's the hardest fight for Islam Makhachev in the division right now?
Yeah, he probably is. Yeah.
What do you reckon? It's between him and Morales, probably. I mean, Shavkat
Morales is a beast,
back.
but he's not as his defense is not as refined as Ian's. I mean, again, I'm going to say Ian's footwork is very good. His distance management is very good. He's got a very good series of lancing attacks. His takedown defense is excellent. Shavkat didn't get him down until like the 4th or the 5th, and even then, yes, he did get him down. And so I think this will be kind of interesting to see what kind of takedowns he uses. If you guys recall, Rakhmonov was only doing upper body stuff and couldn't get any of it to work. And then eventually mixed lower to upper. So he had like a knee tap. No, sorry, he had a single leg that he used to a knee tap, and he finally got him over. You know, so like he was able to get it done, but it took a really long time. And I know Shavkat was injured. So this is what I mean. Like maybe Makhachev goes in there and like bosses him around. It's hard to say. But that was almost 2 years ago too, the fight between Rakhmonov and a year and a half anyway, between Rakhmonov and Garry. But I just think Garry's defensiveness, dude, he's hard to take down. He's hard to land on. He's got great footwork, great distance management. He's quicker of the two. He's hungry as shit.
By wrapping it up, Luke Thomas makes his final prediction, and he's clearly leaning toward Islam Makhachev in this dangerous matchup. He believes Islam's pressure, wrestling, and ability to dictate where the fight takes place could overwhelm Ian Garry. Thomas sees Garry having moments on the feet, but questions whether he can consistently keep Islam off him for 5 rounds. When it comes down to his final pick, Luke Thomas sides with Islam to get the job done and prove why he's still the man to beat.
Let me ask you this then. If you're Ian Garry, how do you beat Islam Makhachev?
On the ground, there's just no question Islam is going to be way better. So to me, you need to have takedown defense on point, and if you get taken down, you have to have an ability to scramble to your feet or do wrestling get-ups, or, you know, because against Rakhmonov, you'll recall, he just kind of relented. You know, he would fight the takedown, but then once you got the takedown, he didn't really fight it. And so, and at least not much. And so to me, I wonder about that. Like, I think that could be really bad for him. But all of that starts with, you know, takedown defense. And then all of that kind of starts with, you know, distance management, keeping your back off the fence, footwork, jab. Honestly, I really believe, like, people are like, oh, can you really win with footwork and a jab? Well, no. But footwork and a jab and good takedown defense has been like what Sean Strickland does. You know what I mean? That's how he wins. What is he winning with? Punishing ground and pound? Like, that's not how he wins. It can be done. So to me, it's long range weapons. It is takedown defense. It is managing of not just the distance between himself and Islam, but the distance between his back and the cage, space in the octagon. And I think you're going to have to lead Islam into traps through your movement, right? If you can touch him and then go, and now you're off at an angle and he has to follow in that space to follow, bop, bop, you got to be opening up on him. And again, dude, you might be saying, oh, okay, but can you really do this to Islam Makhachev? I have the exact same questions. Like, it's just hard to see. But I think if there's any winnable path, it's managing real estate, managing distance, being first and third when you need to be, footwork, and range. That's going to be everything, because if Islam can get his hands on you and can consistently make grips, that seems like it could be a problem. And Islam's got good striking too, but I don't think he's going to have the same ability, the same speed and the same snap and the same movement. You got to use the advantages that you have.
In the end, Islam Makhachev and Ian Garry are turning UFC 330 into a battle of confidence, skill, and will. Garry believes his movement, striking, and takedown defense can expose Islam's weaknesses. Meanwhile, Islam is preparing to unleash every weapon and prove he's far more than just a grappler. Craig Jones is building Garry's game plan around denying Islam's favorite positions and punishing his pressure. Luke Thomas sees Garry as a dangerous nightmare matchup, but still believes Islam's pressure and wrestling will prevail. With both camps pushing their limits, UFC 330 is shaping up to be a brutal 5-round war. The question now is simple: can Ian Garry stop Islam's pressure for 5 rounds? Or will Islam drag him into deep waters and prove why he remains the man to beat? Two fighters, two completely different game plans, and only one can leave Philadelphia as champion. UFC 330 is ready to explode. If you're hyped for Makhachev versus Garry, smash that like and share this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more UFC breakdowns, predictions, and fight updates.